Myth and fairy story must, as all art, reflect and contain in solution elements of moral and religious truth or error, but not explicit, not in the known form of the primary real world. J.R.R. Tolkien is the author of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and unlike many of his previous and fellow fantasy writers, he instilled his own religion prominently in all of his works. Fantasy and sci-fi movies and novels are becoming very prominent lately, and it's nice to find something with a deeper meaning, such as in the Lord of the Rings. As a Catholic myself and a fond lover of fantasy novels, I geeked out a little bit over the comparisons between both Catholicism and a fantasy reality in the Lord of the Rings series. So today, I will be informing you about the author, J.R.R. Tolkien, the Eucharistic comparisons, and the Marian parallels in the trilogy itself. So let's begin with some background on the author. John Ronald Reuel Tolkien was born in 1892 in South Africa, and then after his father died, when Tolkien was around the age of 4, his mother moved he and the rest of his siblings to Birmingham, England. Later, he became a professor at the Oxford University and started a group called the Inklings. This is also about the same time that he started writing his first works, The Hobbit. The Inklings included a future fellow Catholic writer, C.S. Lewis, and Owen Barfield. And according to Bishop Barron of the Archdiocese of Los Angeles, the Inklings wanted to use their literary work to propagate Christianity. So now you know a little background on Tolkien, we can move on to the comparison between the Holy Eucharist and Lembas bread. So the word Eucharist means thanksgiving, and is described in John chapter 3, verse 35. Jesus said to them, "I am the bread of life. He who comes to me will not hunger, and he who believes in me will never thirst." Also in John chapter 6, verse 55 through 58, Jesus says, "For my flesh is real food, and my blood is real drink. Whoever eats my flesh and drinks my blood remains in me, and I in him. Just as the living Father sent me, and I live because of the Father, so also the one who feeds on me will live because of me." This brings me to a story of a soon-to-be saint, Alexandrina de Costa. According to the Miracles of the Saints, Blessed Alexandrina de Costa was severely injured while trying to escape an attacker who was trying to rape she and her sister. So she jumped out a window and severely hurt her brain and became completely paralyzed. So while bedridden, she heard Jesus come to her in her soul and said, "You will not take food again on earth. Your food will be my flesh. Your blood will be my divine blood. Your life will be my life. You are living by the Eucharist alone because I want to prove to the world the power of the Eucharist and the power of my life and souls." So she wasn't expected to live much longer, and she was completely unable to move. So what she did, she began living by consuming nothing but the Holy Eucharist, and sustained by its power for 13 years up until her death. So now to Tolkien's equivalent, Lembas bread.
There should be an aux cord, you can just plug it in there.
Where?
On the other side?
One small bite is enough. It's not much. How many
I'll
did
start
you
it over just in case you can hear it.
Lembas. Elvish wainwright. One small bite is enough to fill the stomach of a grown man. How many did you eat? 4.
So as you can see, Lembas bread was food that was given to the hobbits at the beginning of their journey to Mordor, and it was given to them by the elves. And according to The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring by J.R.R. Tolkien in 1955, it is described as, "It fed the will and it gave strength to endure." And if you've read the books or seen the movies, you notice that countless times various characters are very close to death or to the point of almost giving up on life. But when given the lamb of bread, they continued through the pain and suffering and were able to do exactly what was necessary of them, which brings me back to a comparison to Alexandrina. When she needed it the most, the Eucharist was given to her to give her the strength to go on.
Just go over your speaker notes and hit next.
Okay. So next I'll move on to Mary and the Rosary and Galadriel and the Phial. So Mary is the mother of Jesus and is also crowned Queen of Heaven and Earth by the Catholic Church. She appeared to St. Dominic in a vision and gave him what we call the Rosary. So the Rosary is a string of beads that is split into 5 decades, and each bead has a specific prayer attached to it. The Rosary is said by many Catholics as a disciplined way of prayerful meditation on the mysteries of the life of Jesus, asking through the intercession of Mary for Jesus' special graces. So in the story of St. Dominic, Mary promised that the Rosary would be a powerful armor against hell. It will destroy vice, decrease sin, and defeat heresies. She also promised him her special protection and greatest graces to all those who shall recite the Rosary. Which brings me to the Tolkien equivalent, Galadriel. According to the article titled The Virgin Mary in the Lord of the Rings by Laura Norris in 2011, Galadriel is described as queen, mother, ethereal, and ever-present to those who request her aid. In the Two Towers, Galadriel appears to Samwise to aid him, just as Mary has appeared to many people to offer her aid, just as she did with St. Dominic giving him the Rosary when the world needed it. The Phial of Galadriel, or also known as, forgive my Elvish, the Light of Eärendil, was given by Galadriel to Samwise and Frodo. And according to The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, directed by Peter Jackson in 2001, she gave the phial to them, saying, "May it give light for you in dark places when all other lights go out." In the Two Towers, Samwise uses the phial against Shelob, a giant spider who is in fact a Satan figure in the story, and defeats him, protecting Frodo. The phial in this case is acting as the Rosary, which is as a powerful shield against darkness and evil, and brought the protection. So in conclusion, I've described to you the background of J.R.R. Tolkien, the Holy Eucharist and the lemon bread comparisons in the books and Catholicism, and Mary with the Rosary and Galadriel with the Light of Eärendil. So hopefully now when you read a fantasy book or see a fantasy movie, you can start to notice that maybe an elf isn't just an elf, and maybe a simple phial of light can stand for something so much more than what is seen to the naked eye.